A huge lion, bearing a powerful and determined gait, had escaped and was advancing straight toward the main gate. A deep, guttural alarm cut through the air, sending waves of primal fear through the crowds. In the ensuing chaos, passing families scrambling for safety and the scattering popcorn bags, only one figure remained: Elizabeth. She was frail, determined, and utterly motionless, leaning on a simple wooden cane. The panic was universal, translating into a desperate, scrambling flight. But there, standing directly in the lion's path, Elizabeth defied every instinct. As the lion closed the distance, the line between predator and prey blurred. Have you ever felt paralyzed by fear? Let us know in the comments below. But what made this elderly woman hold her ground when every instinct screamed to run? The massive lion stopped, its ancient eyes locking onto Elizabeth's. Behind the lion, the rapid response team, led by zookeeper Mabudi, converged. Mabudi was a man whose African name meant goodness, and in this moment, he wrestled with the terrifying paradox of his profession. He saw a 2-decade-old male, over 400 pounds of lethal instinct, yet something in the animal's gaze held him back. The silent moment stretched, thick with adrenaline and the metallic tang of fear in the air, intensified by the smell of the damp concrete. Suddenly, the scene dissolved into a whisper of memory. 25 years earlier, Elizabeth was a renowned wildlife veterinarian, her hands young, skilled, and gentle. A tiny, ailing lion cub, orphaned and near death, had been placed in her care. For 10 months, that cub was her sole focus, demanding every ounce of her energy. She fed it every 3 hours with specially formulated milk, slept on the floor beside its makeshift bed, and meticulously taught it the difference between a playful swat and a genuine threat. This foundational bond was forged not in a wilderness pride, but in the quiet of a human home, imprinted indelibly by the scent of her skin and the sound of her lullabies. Elizabeth remembered the crushing heartbreak when a lion grew too big and too wild and had to be transferred to the zoo. She had promised to return, a promise life's tragedies, her own advanced illness, a debilitating cancer diagnosis, and the loss of her beloved husband, had cruelly broken. Now, facing the old, scarred lion, she understood the animal's desperate drive. This was not a hunt. This was a homecoming. The lion wasn't seeking freedom. It was seeking the one thing that felt like home: her. Mabudi had the tranquilizer gun raised. His finger was on the trigger. He had a clear shot, but something in the lion's posture, a look in its eye that spoke not of malice but of profound recognition, forced him to pause. What did Mabudi see that changed everything? Was it fear, or something much deeper? Mabudi had to believe in the impossible. The stillness of the tense standoff was broken by Elizabeth. She didn't shout or plead. She made a sound that only a tiny, hungry, and frightened lion cub would recognize. It was a soft, low coo, a unique sound she used to make when offering the bottle. The effect on the immense creature was immediate and undeniable. The tension in the lion's massive shoulders melted away instantly. Its head tilted to the side, a familiar, questioning gesture Elizabeth instantly recognized from their shared past. Then, the lion let out a sound that stunned every seasoned zookeeper, a soft, rumbling chirp, utterly out of place coming from such a formidable predator, yet instantly recognizable as an affectionate, seeking noise. It was the sound of recognition. Mabudi watched, riveted, as the old animal took the final few steps. The lion approached the frail woman with an impossible gentleness, its sheer size in stark contrast to its caution. It lowered its immense head and softly rubbed its coarse mane against Elizabeth's trembling free hand. This was the irrefutable evidence that emotion transcended instinct. Mabudi reported through his radio, his voice strained but firm. "We have a unique situation. Stand down. This is not an attack. This is a connection." Elizabeth's eyes filled with tears, not of fear, but of overwhelming grief and love. She focused on the heavy guilt she had carried for 2 decades. "My brave lion," she whispered, her voice cracking with decades of stored regret. "I promised I would return, and "I'm so sorry I left you for so long." In response, the lion did what no one had seen it do in its long life at the zoo. It pressed its whole body against her side, stabilizing her as she leaned heavily on her cane, a subtle act of support and immense tenderness. Scientists later debated this, some arguing that lion memory, especially of humans, fades quickly. However, this profound behavior, this deliberate act of non-aggression and physical comfort, was the living proof that emotional bonds defy biological textbooks. If this story touches your heart, hit the like button to share the magic. Mabudi, seeing Elizabeth whisper her painful confession, immediately cut the emotional tension by shifting focus to the tactical reality. The immediate danger was over, but the ethical dilemma for the zoo had just begun. Mabudi now had to convince his superiors that this emotional moment was worth breaking every protocol. Mabudi and the zoo director fought fiercely for Elizabeth and the lion. Arguing against safety regulations and internal protocol, they secured special permission to move the pair to a large, private observation room in the veterinary center. The priority shifted instantly from capture to compassionate, immediate care for both species. Mabudi personally oversaw the meticulous preparation of the room, ensuring it offered comfort and safety, transforming a sterile clinical space into a temporary sanctuary of love. Elizabeth, who had been given a dire, terminal prognosis by her doctors, found a sudden, profound resurgence of spirit. Her advanced illness still plagued her, causing constant pain, but the crushing weight of her lifelong guilt, the broken promise to the lion, had finally been lifted. The reunion became Elizabeth's most powerful form of therapy. She would sit quietly on thick mats, her hand resting on the lion's dense, silvery mane, sharing stories about her life, her late husband, and the simple joys she treasured in the world outside the zoo. She focused intensely on the present, not her pain. The lion's presence was a soothing balm, a constant, massive source of warmth and peace that no medication could replicate. The lion, too, exhibited a striking change in behavior. The solitary, often aloof animal known to keepers became remarkably gentle and profoundly relaxed. It would rest its huge head in her lap, watching her with deep, contented amber eyes, clearly drawing peace and healing from her presence after decades of emotional isolation. Scientists eagerly documented the case, fascinated by the phenomenon of memory-driven comfort and bond stability over a quarter century. They knew the reunion was historic, a landmark in ethology. But they also knew that time was running out for Elizabeth. Her physical decline, though temporarily masked by her spiritual well-being, was steady and rapid. How do you prepare for a goodbye when love knows no species? The team sensed a tragic inevitability. Mabudi, seeing the profound, shared peace, committed himself fully to protecting their last moments, ensuring every second was counted. Every second spent together was a gift. But even the strongest love cannot stop the clock from ticking. And soon, the day came for the final, heartbreaking farewell. In the soft light of a gentle March afternoon, Elizabeth felt the end approaching. Her spirit was calm, but she made one final, crucial request: to be with the lion one last time, not separated by glass, but truly present. Mabudi and the palliative care team carefully moved her onto thick floor mats, and the lion approached with a hesitant tenderness that brought tears to the nurse's eyes. It settled its huge body beside her, enveloping her in warmth and powerful protection, creating a final, sacred space. Elizabeth's final words were whispered into the lion's golden mane, her voice barely a breath. "Thank you for waiting for me. Thank you for remembering. Thank you for loving me." As her last breath left her, the lion raised its head and emitted a sound that echoed through the veterinary center. It was not a roar of aggression or dominance, but a sound of inconsolable, pure grief, the unmistakable lament of a child losing its mother. The lion refused to leave Elizabeth's side for over 6 hours, occasionally nudging her gently with its muzzle, as if waiting for her to stir. It was a profound, silent vigil. Mabuti and the team stood back, recognizing the sanctity of the moment, realizing this animal was not just grieving. It was processing the completion of a lifelong quest. 7 weeks later, the lion died peacefully in its sleep. Though the official cause was organ failure due to old age, the prevailing opinion among the staff and scientists was unanimous. The lion died of a broken heart. It had fulfilled its life's mission to reconnect with its first human mother, and with that mission complete, it simply chose to follow her. The San Diego Zoo later installed a bronze plaque at the main gate, where the impossible standoff occurred. It commemorates both Elizabeth and the lion, reminding all who enter that love is a force unconstrained by species or time. It is a healing power, a gentle solution to life's deepest wounds. If you want to see more powerful, true stories that restore your faith in the world, make sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell now.